Well, the parents of the teenagers who died in the Enyobeni tragedy are not satisfied with the toxicology report looking into the deaths of those 21 youngsters in East London. Provincial health authorities released a report privately to the parents yesterday, which suggests that the teenagers suffocated due to overcrowding. Some of the parents are now considering taking legal action in their personal capacity, as they may believe that it might be the only way that they could get closure. Let's speak to one of these parents now. Khululekile Ncandana joins us via our video link this morning. And it's great to have you on the program. So, Nkosi kakhulu for speaking to us today. Firstly, condolences to you, your family, and everybody else who might have been affected by losing your child, especially in this way. Yesterday, we heard that there are many parents who are simply unhappy with the ways in which this investigation was done. Are you part of those parents?
Good morning. Yes, I am part of those parents.
And what exactly are you unhappy about?
Well, if you will recall that previously on the preliminary results that we were given, and another one after that when we were called to say we will be receiving the final results, but unfortunately they were not. The stampede was ruled out. It was totally ruled out, and all of a sudden now when we are getting the reports, it says because it was too full in that place, the children couldn't breathe, they squashed each other as they were dancing. So that's what we were told. So I'm one of those parents who are not happy about that.
I suppose you believe that the version of accounts from authorities is not true. In fact, there are some people who believe that in some ways government is trying to hide the truth around what happened.
Well, we will really like to know as to really what happened there. Because for this to make a turnaround and give us the same thing that they say it was ruled out. And secondly, they say that those results were confidential because the reasons for the death of those children was different. But all to find out, and we even inquire before that, how can the results be different but the kids all died in one place? So they say there's nothing confidential about this because the whole of South Africa was aware of what happened there, that the children died in that place. So now when the results comes out, now all of a sudden it's confidential. The whole of South Africa cannot know what killed those children.
Yeah. And what responses have you been able to receive from authorities to your concerns?
We haven't received any response. There's no response. They just gave us the results and that's it.
Sure. How has that made you feel? It might be an obvious question, but it's still worth, I guess, ventilating that.
Well, for now, it really shows that we aren't going to get closure as soon as we thought we would. But now we have to look at other avenues to try and get the answers as to really what happened to our children. Because most of the children, if you look at their corpses when we were there were some something that was coming out of their mouth. Even when their bodies were at mortuary, the state of their bodies was not in a good condition because it could really show that there's something that they have consumed from that place.
Sure. There must have been survivors. In fact, we know that there are survivors from that night. Have any of them come forward to say what they saw on that evening? Have any of them suggested what they think the cause of death might have been?
Well, there are quite a lot of kids, even on that day, on that Sunday. Most of the kids that were there in that night, they were there outside. Some of them were talking to the police, of which I don't know if the police have taken statements for those kids, or if the police has actually, in their investigation, tried to contact the kids who were there, because the kids who were there, they say something about the smell. Something was shown into the crowd, into the full place, something like a tear gas or something like that. I don't know what was it, but most of the kids were there. All they confirmed such things. But there's nothing that is coming out of those reports. And secondly, if you look at the investigation itself, a week or two after the death of the kids, the owner of the tavern was allowed to remove the liquor from his place. Instead of the police removing the liquor from that place, the owner removed the liquor by himself. I mean, what does that tell you? I mean, I don't think it was supposed to be like that. As part of the investigation, that liquor was supposed to be confiscated by the authorities.
Yeah. Speaking about the owner, I am told that some parents are being prevented from opening their own cases against this owner because on top of him facing charges in relation to being in contravention of the Liquor Act, there are some parents who actually want him charged with murder.
Well, for now, no, I don't know of anything of preventing parents from taking legal actions against the owner. As the parents, we will regroup and see which way to go, so we'll take it from there. But most definitely we will seek some legal advice, so that's the only way that we can go now going forward.
Yeah. Is that a call you'd support, that the owner also face murder charges?
Most definitely. I mean, for 21 children to die in your establishment, I mean, whose establishment is that? The establishment belongs to him. He's the owner of that place, and he was there when this happened. So what does that give us? What does that tell you? He's the owner. He must take responsibility.
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, this is a story that really sent shockwaves across the country, and you don't have to be from Scenery Park to really be moved by this. How has it affected you as a family?
It has affected us quite badly. The family is not in a good space. We've been going in and out of health facilities because we aren't good at all. I mean, something like that, to see your child in the morning or during the course of the day, the next thing you heard is that your child has passed away in that manner. It's quite shocking. I mean, and if you look at the owner of the establishment, he doesn't show any remorse about that.
Yeah. You know, we've been speaking for a long time about these 21 teenagers as a group, but I think it's also important to at least learn a thing or two about the individuals. If you can, because I understand it might be quite difficult, are you able to tell us about your child and perhaps what you remember as you go through this process about your child?
I mean, he was a good boy. He was looking forward to write his final grade 12 exams and looking forward to go to tertiary, looking forward after tertiary to get employment so that he can have a better future.
Absolutely. And once again, condolences to you and your family. Hopefully, at the very least, you're able to get closure by being able to get the answers that you so desperately need. Khululekile Ncandana, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. Really do appreciate your time. That's one of the parents of the 21 youngsters whose body were found really strewn across the Enyobeni tavern now more than 2 months ago. And it's really devastating to hear this unanimous sentiment that many of them feel they aren't able to get closure because they're not satisfied with the answers around what exactly happened on that night.